Romeo from Romeo and Juliet, Jack Dawson from Titanic, Hal from Howl's Moving Castle, Tamaki, Gojo Satoru, Master Jinchi, Benedict Bridgerton. These are some of my favorite fictional men that I have collected like a Pokemon collection so far. I didn't really think anything about that at first, but as the collection kept growing and I myself grew older, I think I finally came to the conclusion that I do have a type. Think about the stereotypical flower boy, who is more pretty than handsome. He gives off a really soft and feminine vibe. He has that youthfulness, eccentric, and whimsical in his character. He can also be pretty dramatic and sassy at times and doesn't really take himself seriously. But at the same time, he has that confidence within him. It's not the typical manly confidence that is usually in your face and bold, but more aloof and mysterious. Personally, I used to call him Whimsy Boyfriend. But aside from all the whimsy, they share a pretty similar pattern in their character arc as well. You know, a pretty boy who got introduced as that weird guy in the beginning. He's bright, cheerful, charming, and funny. We weren't supposed to take him seriously at first, but then we learned that there is something deeper about him. He revealed himself to be really emotional, devoted, and passionate, to the point of obsession sometimes. He's like a fire that nurtures lives around him, but can also burn himself with it. He carried this duality in him that make you want to know more and more. He is the lover. The lover male lead is not as easy to find as the other archetype of male leads, especially in modern media and literature. It is pretty hard to come by these days. But despite how much this archetype is so underrepresented in the media, they are extremely popular. I mean, if you know any of the characters that I mentioned in the beginning, you probably know how popular they are in their own fandom. And now, we have the newest boy to add to the collection, in my humble opinion, as the best example of the lover archetype to deep dive into today. Let's welcome a certain beautiful, enigmatic artist that captures many people's hearts, including me, from Love and Deepspace, Rafayel. There is one book called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, the 4 Archetypes of the Mature Masculine, written by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillett, which introduces me to this whole concept that masculinity is made up of 4 archetypal male energies, which serve different purposes in every man. The lover is one of the archetypes that unlocks something in me. It helps me understand the importance of this archetype in men that I'm attracted to on a deeper level. The lover archetype embodies the primal energy of passion, sensuality, creativity, and connection in human life. It fuels our core hunger for love, creativity, connection, and meaningful experience, allowing us to feel deeply connected with both our inner world and the external environment. A man accessing the lover is deeply sensual, sensitive, compassionate, and connected to others and the world around him. He experiences life ecstatically, feeling joy and pain intensely. His capacity for empathy and emotional connection allows him to recognize beauty and meaning in existence, while navigating the complexities of relationships and creativity. Rafayel is the lover archetype to the core. He's a talented artist, has the most beautiful appearance you have ever seen with a strong personality. He's very expressive, talkative, and full of attitudes. To some, he's a brat, and to others, me. He's such an endearing character that you could never get enough of. And if we're being honest here, his archetype doesn't really fit the gender role expectation for men in general, isn't it? Clearly, a lot of people wouldn't think about him when talking about the ideal of masculinity. But then, why is he so popular among women, to the point of being put at the face of the game? Why are a lot of us attracted to men like him? And why do I think it is so important to have more representation of men like him in the media. Let's dive in. Aside from this brief interaction, the very first time we actually met Rafayel in the game was when we went to his studio to investigate on our first mission. From that first impression, he makes you laugh from his antics. He's chaotic and sassy and so unserious. In the beginning, Rafayel was nothing more than the funny one. Out of all the three guys, he seems like the rom-com route. But as the story progresses, we interact with him more and more. We discover there's more to him than he lets on. Who he actually is, his true intention, what he is really capable of. The very first meet-cute moment that we were laughing at earlier is becoming more and more like a master plan. In 2034, an underwater city was unearthed in the ocean southeast of Lincoln City. It was confirmed to be the ruins of Lemuria, an ancient marine civilization recorded in legends, confirming Lemuria's existence. He starts to pull us into his world. Below the calm surface is a complete darkness and tragedy, waiting for you to drown in it. This is not the first meeting with him. It's a painful reunion.
All those legends about the Lemurians, they aren't just fairy tales.
Rafayel, you really are a Lemurian? Just like the ones in the stories? I thought Lemuria disappeared thousands of years ago.
Not all characters in fairy tales live happily ever after. Maybe the mermaid set a trap from the very beginning, in order to take the sailor's life.
In the city where Romeo met Juliet, Verona. This is the hottest gossip spreading through every corner. On the 10th anniversary of Royal Opera House, during one of the most memorable performances, Siren's voice, Mr. Fallon has been found dead in his seat right after the performance ended. A person enchanted by the Siren's ballad will ultimately die with a smile. Mr. Fallon has no external injuries or signs of poisoning. The police haven't found any clues. Maybe that opera singer really is the god of the sea. He took his revenge. Rafayel swipes through the news on his phone, listening to a few of high school girls gossip with each other while sipping his Americano in the cafe. By the time the cup is half empty, Talia walks into the cafe and sits down on his table. They exchange some words. She gave a compliment about how amazing his performance was that night and gave Rafayel some document files. She then looked at her nephew. After that incident in Lemuria, Rafayel changed. Talia felt she could no longer recognize him. If the Rafayel of the past was a blazing flame, then the Rafayel now resembled a reef battered by relentless waves, outwardly cold and hard, yet riddled with cracks, vulnerable to crumbling from the next wave. Outside the cafe, one pair of eyes are looking at the whole interaction. Louis, a detective in charge of investigating Mr. Fallon's death, suspects that his unusual death might have something to do with the opera singer. He waits until Rafayel walks out of the cafe and quietly follows him. But as the man heads into an alley, he vanishes into darkness. Frustrated, Louis stops in his tracks. Suddenly, a flame ignites from the end of the alley. Speak, why are you following me? At the fancy restaurant, Louis takes a seat directly across from Rafayel. He promises to stop following the man if he answers some questions. Do you like myths, Mr. Rafayel? Louis asks. My favorite is the killer's song. Louis starts to tell the story to Rafayel, all the while trying to read his reaction. Legends say the Siren was not a grateful woman, but a charming, handsome merman. Contrary to the stories in operas, he met a woman on the beach, but she took his tail and cut off his scales. At death's door, the Siren sang a mournful elegy. Ultimately, the woman on the shore passed away with a smile as he sang. People lured by Siren's ballad don't die peacefully. Their smiles are just a mask bestowed by the Siren. Instead, as they near death, they witness bizarre visions as they are plunged into endless torment. A blue pattern representing the Siren appears on their chests. It's a constant reminder of the sins they committed against the sea. Rafayel eats slowly, a knife in one hand and a fork in the other. He cuts the meat on his plate with the elegance of the upper class. No reaction. Louis continues, I think this version is too plain, so I took the liberty of rewriting it. The Siren returns to the sea, believing everything has ended, but he discovers his underwater kingdom has turned into ruins soaked in blood. His people have either vanished, turned into bloody foam, or were kidnapped. His homeland has turned into a silent, desert city overnight. Oh, and as for the name of this underwater kingdom, Lemuria. Rafayel still doesn't speak, chewing slowly. His aloof facade seems impenetrable. But Louis, still determined, tries one last time. There's a part I still haven't figured out, he said. When the Siren returns to the beach, how does he exact his revenge on those responsible for Lemuria's destruction? I think he'll first learn from them, Rafayel suddenly responded. He's got to study the wits and cruelty, you know. Louis is taken aback. He fails to find any mistake in this man. Other than Rafayel's smile, nothing seems to be amiss. Despite that, he is even more perplexed by Rafayel's response. Rafayel stands up and departs, leaving only that statement behind. Several days has passed, and Rafayel boards a ship set to depart from Verona to the next performance destination, Lincoln City. He takes out a stack of documents and sets them on fire. The arches are instantly taken away by the sea breeze. Approaching the beach, a sea breeze stirs. A photo from Rafayel's breast pocket is blown away, but before it can go too far, a seagull snatches it and returns it to him. Rafayel gazes at the girl in the photo, a smile gracing his lips. He pets the seagull. I'll give you some tasty snacks next time. Myths and legends are actually not reliable. Different people tell different versions of the same story. But do any of them hold some truth in it? Is Louis' version the most accurate version? And what is Rafayel's true identity? Let's go back to the origin, a place where the god once made a promise to his follower, Lemuria. Once upon a time, there's a civilization that lived under the deep sea in a whale-filled city, Lemuria, a place where light would not touch. Only a great flame that burned in whale-filled city's temple for thousands of years provides a source of warmth and life. The tome of the sea god states that if this fire were to ever go out, Lemuria shall fall into a deep slumber. After the previous sea god passes away, the last sea god, Rafayel, was born years later, bathed in the flames under the union of dusk and dawn. And the prophecy also states that the fire would go out, only to be reignited by him. And in order to do that, he has to go through the sea god ceremony when he is of age. It's to find a human to become his most devout follower. She must offer him her heart, and they have to form a bond that ties his heart to her forever, so he can become the god recognized by the entire ocean. The story begins when MC got thrown in the ocean as an offering for the sea god on one stormy night. At the same time as Rafayel sneaks out of the temple, and swims over the surface. As she is drowning, she recalled the saying that told her, a kiss from Romirro would grant humans the ability to breathe underwater. Desperate to survive, she grabs Rafayel and kisses him. Rafayel agrees to save her, but she must become his devout follower and make a bond with him. This version of Rafayel is how we would imagine somebody who was raised to be a god would act. For the first half of the myth, he's prideful, aloof, lacks empathy for humans, and at times quite cruel. He brought her to Wayfall City and made her live there without asking if she wanted to or not. He threatened to take back her ability to breathe if she doesn't agree to be his follower, which in turn will make her, die. He sees human life as something so insignificant, just like all the other Lumerians do. At the same time, Rafayel grew up really sheltered and restricted, and that makes him pretty naive and oblivious in certain areas as well. As time goes by, he starts to learn about MC and develops a deep connection with her, and at some point offers to let her leave the deep sea and live on land. But this time, MC chose to stay and become his follower. Before the night of the ceremony, he made a promise to her. "'Tis not worship that I desire," he told her.
From the depths of your very soul, I seek only the purest devotion. Are you willing to be my follower?
And in return, he promises her his own heart.
The sea god's heart, mine heart, dost thou want it?
To Rafayel, the sea god ceremony is basically a wedding. It does sound like a wedding. Find someone who loves you, who would offer the purest form of devotion to you, and create a bond that ties you with that person forever. It makes sense that he would make that promise to her. But the ceremony in question, it is just a sinister sacrificial ritual dressed as something romantic. "I'll cut out your heart with a dagger honed, my darling. And in love's name, your heart will become my fate. Your body will be washed clean, shine like a pearl. I will care for your heart." Yeah, the ceremony doesn't just end with them exchanging vows. As the sea god, Rafayel has to kill his follower and carve out her heart as an offering and feed it into the great flames. Until then, he will become the true invincible god. Which, knowing all the myths about gods around the world, I don't think we are surprised by that. It shouldn't be a problem if they forgot to tell him about that, right? Well, one of the biggest mistakes they forgot to tell Rafayel is he himself was not supposed to fall in love. At the end of the ceremony, Rafayel loses control to the deep sea and almost kills her. He fought back his consciousness and told her to run away.
You cannot stay here. Lemuria's flame requires the hearts of our followers to sustain it. This is wrong. Should it continue, 'tis only a matter of time before I lose control and hurt you again. You must find a method that will allow it to burn forever. That shall be Lemuria's true path.
MC ran away from Romirro as it plunged into darkness to find the wick that Rafayel told her to search for. But she soon realizes there was no wick that exists in the place where all oceans converge, or at the end of the sea. Romirro was a civilization that should have never existed. No matter what, Romirro, alongside the sea god, is destined to perish. In order to save her beloved, with the power of Romirro's vow, she decided to come back to Romirro and use their bond to seal him away until Romirro welcomes the opportunity for rebirth. Then he will be awakened. Rafayel's divine gaze, once clearer than seawater, transforms into a black tide. It freezes when he looks at her. "You betray me." Once the seal is complete, he is plunged into the depths of those abyssal waters. Boundless black waves surge in from all directions. "I will care for your heart till we meet again, and you reclaim it for yourself." I know, I hate going through this one as much as you do, but we have to. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years later, MC was reborn again in the city of Romirro, right about the era of humanity's last arc, when the Black Sea is about to devour the world. There shall be a lunar eclipse, and at the end of the third night, Romirro will be annihilated as it sinks below the ocean's waves. The tomb of the sea god, which has foretold all worldly changes, announces the day in which humanity will be submerged during the first night. Over the centuries, the people's faith in the sea god and everything that is associated with him was swallowed by the rising tides. It was only a matter of time before they were abandoned and forgotten. MC, being recognized as the bride of the sea god, suffered this fate as well. She got imprisoned in the tower and was forced to recite the message from the tomb of the sea god by Håkon, the Castellan, in order to manipulate people and remain in power over the city. During her time in prison, she starts hearing a voice from a young man speaking to her. At first, I thought the voice was a hallucination born from my lengthy imprisonment. But time passes, and the seagulls brought me seashells with strange patterns. That's when I became certain of his existence. He claimed to be the sea god. On the night where Håkon comes visit her and forces her to recite another fake prophecy, the mysterious sea god offers to help her escape. Reluctantly, she agrees. While she is summoning the prophecy, the sea god's voice drips along with her singing and creates massive thunder around her. She jumps down into the sea and swims along his guidance until she sees him, the sea god. She awakens him and swims back into the city on land. The sea god offers to kill all the men responsible for her suffering, but he changes his mind. Håkon and his henchmen are now imprisoned in a water cage that is under a waterfall. As the heir to the previous Castellan, MC became the new ruler of Romirro. They rebuilt the sea god's temple and lived together there, with no previous memories. Rafayel doesn't remember the one who sealed him. He intends to find that person and punish them. The tome also told him that, in order to fully awaken the sea god's power, MC needed to fall in love with him. Lemurians who seek absolute power combat the treacherous tides, dive into the deep for pearls, find a true love. And Rafayel did just that. He and MC dive into the sea god's tomb and go through trials to awaken some of the sea god's power. Both of them regain some memories from their past life and return back to Romirro. They spend their time together and slowly but surely start to fall in love again. Until MC got attacked by Håkon, who just escaped from the water prison. He captures MC back to the tower and reveals the truth that he is actually one of the surviving Lemurian, and he has always planned to bring back Lemuria by killing the sea god and become the ruler himself. He shows her what was happening at the sea god ceremony that day, and how she is the one who imprisoned Rafayel. When the vision dissipated, Rafayel was there too. Both of them now remember everything. They kill Håkon and return to the sea god's temple. But everything has changed since then. MC, feeling guilty that she is the reason why Lemuria perished and the one who sealed him for thousands of years. And Rafayel now realized that he could never be able to become the true god and use the power to save her homeland. He left Romirro to look for the pearls the next day. The day of the eclipse has arrived. The massive waves rise and destroy almost everything on land. Rafayel returns and uses his remaining power to save Romirro. After that, he can't fully heal himself and is struggling to change into his legs. He reassures, aka lie, to MC that nothing's wrong. But one day, MC found him unconscious under the pool. She brought him back to the sea god's tomb and asked for help from the previous sea gods. Rafayel woke up and recovered a little bit, but both of them know it will not last for long. His life force is fading away at an alarming rate. He bid goodbye to her one last time, using an excuse of finding the pearls again. But MC also made up her mind. She asks to see him off to the deep sea. I'll fulfill the promise I once made. Before they part ways, Rafayel teaches her to play the song that she loves. He kisses her passionately and desperately clings onto her like a promise. MC uses that opportunity to use their bond again, one last time. With the power of the sea god's vow, our covenant, Rafayel, obey my command, reclaim this heart, and end our everlasting bond. Daylight has arrived. The tides surge, massive waves build upon waves engulfing Romirro. Seawater envelops every house, every patch of soil, every mountain range. Everyone steps onto a strange yet familiar homeland. They breathe the air that flows into seawater. Lemurian memories awaken in their blood. They swim through the city that has been reborn. 𝒆𝒄𝒆𝒏𝒄𝒆𝒔.
This is my promise to you, for 'tis Lemuria's vow, a bond everlasting.
Raphael's love story as a whole is not just being tragic for the sake of being tragic. His character and all the symbolisms about him heavily revolve around the concept of love. For Raphael, love is part of his life, and the way the writers use his lover archetype to explore the depth and the most intimate part of it is also incredible. The book says that the lover energy has immediate and intimate contact with this underlying oceanic connectedness. You can find some in real-life representation of the lover across various cultures and religions, such as Siva, that signifies the masculine creative life force and the union between the divine and the earthly realms, or the Greek god Dionysus, the god of wine, merriment, art, passion, and sex. Raphael as the lover is creative, passionate, sensual, and at times really intense. Even though who he is at the core stays the same, his journey as the lover did change him into different sides of the archetype as well. He starts off as a young sea god who views love as the most idealized concept. To love means to trust someone wholeheartedly, to offer every fiber of your being, and devote your whole life to someone you love. Just like how the lover archetype is usually the first archetype that develops in a man. They develop intense romantic and sexual relationships when they grow into teenage boys, and they are filled with youthful idealism. Their experiences are marked by an acute intensity. But when the incident in the sea god ceremony happened, although he still shows love, he also has to learn the first lesson that comes with it. To choose love means that you can also feel pain. The pain of seeing your kin suffering. The pain when the one who you give your heart and absolute trust to betray you. As the sea god Raphael, even if he didn't remember his past, started to become more closed off and cold, at least from the beginning. He kept his distance. He hid his bond from her. He never told her his true feelings. He also didn't think of telling his name or who he is as a person until she directly asked him. But Raphael still couldn't hide his true self. I think everyone who read the myth can obviously see that he's head over heel with her. Still, at the end, his love betrayed him again. And for the Raphael in the main timeline, also in his Abyss Walker myth, we don't really know the details as to what actually happened to him like in the myths, but he's the most disconnected version of the lover archetype. He became the shadow side of it. How could he not when the only thing that he ever experienced from love was pain? This crack is even more prominent when he interacts with other characters outside of MC. This Raphael is in an impotent lover state. While the lover in his fullness sees the world in vivid colors and textures, the impotent lover only sees gray. It's the shadow side of the lover archetype, where he is closed off, scared to open up to anyone and losing passion for life, relationships, whether romantic or platonic. Raphael was consumed by his own grief and anger. He seeks justice for the one who had wronged his people. He shuts off his own suffering and wears the marks of this charming artist, pretending to be okay. Never showed that he cares for anything anymore. If nobody can touch his heart, they also cannot hurt him. At the same time, he channels all the pain in his life into his art and starts to be addicted to it, to the point of obsession. I'm getting married not because I have forgotten the past, but because I want to live in the present. Look at every Lemurian here. They are all looking for an anchor, a reason to live. I have found mine, and others have found theirs. Talia says, her eyes lock onto Rafayel. Lemuria will always be important. But what about you? When your own heart is devouring you, is there anything that can pull you back? Rafayel, have you ever thought about your own wedding? His answer was no, by the way. In the early stage of his relationship with MC, he approaches her with absolute caution, while appearing lively and playful. It just feels like he's always keep her at an arm's length. He never wants her to get too close, to see the side that is not as charming. But as their relationship progresses, he has to learn that love is not just about showing your charming side. It also means showing your ugly side as well. To feel love is to feel pain.
Colors that are bright like the sun? Sure, they're beautiful and passionate, but they can burn anyone who comes too close. Like a kite with no string, the viewer will be caught in the scorching heat until they're nothing but ash. The world is full of things that can swallow you whole if you let them. I need to find an anchor, so you should tightly hold on to me.
As we know by now, the Rafayel right now is different. He's still a tsundere, of course. But seeing him grow into who he is now as MC's lover is such a beautiful journey to witness. Rafayel's main color is pink, and throughout his story, he tries to create different shades of it. From light pale pink to deeper pink to vermilion red. The colors represent different sides of love. Here's the thing. All versions of Rafayel, at least from what we have known so far, always shows to love in the end. It doesn't matter how many times he got hurt from it. It doesn't matter how many times MC uses that bond to hurt him. No matter how painful it is, time and time again, he always shows his love. Despite all the painful past and betrayal, he still has that bond with her. The bond that he himself said it's the greatest weakness of Lemurians. That bond represents the vulnerability that comes with love perfectly. To love someone or something, it also means the possibility of you getting hurt by it. It can also be the symbol of power, you know? When you love someone, they can take advantage of that love as a power over you and command you to do something for them. I also think it's poetic that while all the men before him end the bond, the thing that makes them quote-unquote weak and descends into godhood who have no weakness. And Rafayel was like, nope, I'd rather choose love. It's kind of radical in a way if you think about it. And going back to how this is important as we talk about the lover archetype, the lover is actually the most repressed and stunned archetype in men today. Men aren't encouraged to be in touch with their feelings. But the great men in history understood that emotion, properly harnessed, is what drives greatness. The ancient Greeks called this passion for life thumos. It's a fire in the belly that propels a man to do great deeds. For the man in touch with the lover, pain and joy are often intertwined. While embodying joy and connection, the lover is also aware of pain. This complexity is part of the human experience, leading to a profound emotional depth, highlighting that true connection and intimacy often involve navigating through suffering and vulnerability alongside the heights of passion and delight. To become a mature masculine requires an understanding and integration of both masculine and feminine qualities, allowing men to develop compassion, relational abilities, and a fuller sense of self. In a world where men are encouraged to be detached, cold, nonchalant, and not being allowed to show any emotions other than anger, Rafayel is in touch with his emotions and feels everything deeply. There are so many traits in Rafayel that made me fall in love with him. But if I have to list all of them, this video would be 3 hours long, so let's just talk about one thing that you probably heard from a lot of people who love Rafayel is, he heals my inner child. Personally, what is so healing about his character to me is how brave he is. The way he is willing to open his heart to love, even if it means that he can also feel pain, to let her see his weakness, knowing that she might use that against him one day, but still chose to trust her. His love story with MC is about him learning that even if love can come with pain, in the end, it's worth it. Love is worth all the pain. Because there are also the other wonderful parts that love can bring to you. But you cannot experience it if you are scared to get hurt in the first place. And it's not just about romantic love, by the way. Not to be dramatic, but Rafayel inspired me to go after my passion without being scared of failure or disappointment. Creating videos on this channel is one of them. In conclusion, we need a man like him more than ever. But I also understand that he's not for everyone. Rafayel is a lot. He's all over the place and can be a bit difficult to handle. To love a man like him can be challenging. And he knows that he's not easy to love. And that aspect of him being not easy to love, in a way, is also healing to any of us who's chronically avoidant, who grew up having to look after yourself and are scared of becoming a burden and inconvenient to others, who's actually someone that's sensitive and feels deeply, but never had a chance to learn how to express them in fear of getting rejected. That famous line, "Will you still like me no matter who I become?" It's not just the cliche line that he says randomly just to appear mysterious. It's a genuine question from a man who knows loving him is not easy and can be difficult sometimes. And as a Rafayel main, I wouldn't want him any other way.
The art of creation is part of my life. I once stubbornly believed that only pain could bring me inspiration. You made me realize that love and art are so alike. Even if they don't complete me, but burn me instead, I still want them with every fiber of my being. Will you accompany me to seek those other parts in life? Whatever lies outside of pain. Thank you for accepting me the way I am.
Hi, it's Duckling. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. First of all, I'd like to thank you for watching till the end of this video. I know it's a lot. And I did try to make it shorter, but I just couldn't. I'm a yapper when it comes to Rafayel. Originally, I planned to make this series of character study videos based on the whole ideas of this book actually. Like each love interest for each archetype, but I scraped the whole thing off and chose to only go with Rafayel and decided to reference the other archetypes that is more accurate to the other guys instead. But I do think that it would be fun and interesting to do a video talking about this book and which character falls into each archetype, you know? But I'm not sure if anybody would be interested in watching though. So please let me know if you want to see it. Also, aside from the book and the article that I will be linking in the description box, I would also like to give credits to 2 creators. Number 1 is AngelsCornerr. I don't think I need to introduce her to anyone because we all watch her videos. Her videos, especially the Rafayel's myth recap video, really helped me gather my thoughts about all the hidden meanings and timelines because I'm really bad at timeline and multiverse stuff. So yeah, huge shout out to her. And the other creator that I'd like to credit is, again, Scarlet. She's my favorite lad streamer. All of her videos about Rafayel where she gives her own inputs and interpretations are really, really helpful in writing the script of this video and validate my own opinion I have for Rafayel as well. So thank you so much, Scarlet. And for the last two childhood friends, I'm still deciding which guy should I do next. I'm still not recovered from Saint Smith though. And it will probably be out next month. So if you're a Saint or Caleb girlies, threaten me in the comment. Which one should I do next? Saints or Caleb? But yeah, I'll make some chill, kiki video in the meantime while I work on the script for the next essay. I hope you enjoyed this video at least. Please take good care of yourself and I hope to see you next time.